Welcome back, everybody. Another Alliance Score video here for Loki versus Salty. This is war number 9, and we're looking to keep the winning streak going. Hopefully Salty is very, very skilled, so we're looking forward to this. They banned CGR, Kitty, and Scorpion, so this should be interesting since we have assigned quite a bit of Scorpions this season. And let's look at their mini island again. So here we have a Korg boss, and right when this opened, I was like, I could probably use X here. It's just a matter of figuring out that thorn damage. And as I was thinking of counters, we had I had my alliance mate Amanda say that she wants it with Omega, so I was like, you know, she's awesome with them. That's gonna go there. But looking at other counters, Diablo's a really strong counter there. All energy attacks, also global, benefits from MD, so he can definitely take that. Absorbing Man can take it as well if you go into magma form, but I would leave 49 up. That way you can just, you know, pause your form as you fight, and obviously you need I-Bomb for the synergy there. Other alternatives would be Kitty, but she's banned for us this war. So looking at Arcus, Scorpion, Chavez. Scorpion is banned this war, so Chavez, Diablo could work there. Gore is going to be Chavez. Really kind of any global defender or attacker can work there, because you just want to bait his SB1s and anything will nullify his all his buffs. He's kind of simple there. Sassy, Spidey 99 is probably a go-to. We use X for Sassies. You'll see in the war video why. I just find it really simple. Fury in the middle, you can use Red Hulk, who's a global attacker, Omega Red. Diablo also works there. And then you have Hulkling, which is just a Tiger nuke, a complete Tiger nuke. That's what you can send there. Nihilus is Absorbing Man. That works really well since he feeds him morph charges. And Penny is just Gallon Food all over the map. So that's pretty simple on that node. So let's take a look at my fights. So starting off, we're on path 5 in section 1. I have Professor X, White Magneto, and Human Torch. I will have some alliance mates place Torch pre-fights for me so I can take the Torch fights, since I do have a rank 4. This is Icarus right here. I am using a Power Start 1 boost. I am not running max recoil. I do not have him ramped up at all, but I'm not really worried about spamming my not doing enough damage to get my SP3 back. I am running a mutant boost here, but the plan here basically is to parry heavy and then hit his block when I can to remove those planetary endurance buffs. And essentially I did a Power Start 1 because I don't want this to get out of hand. As you can see, you know, he is gaining power kind of quickly. I heavy counter that SB1. Shout out to EOP for forcing me how to do that. And at this point, you know, gonna bait another SB1, heavy counter it, and I have the Fury up, and I'm like, okay, so I'm at 100 charges. I'm just gonna throw my SB3 here and kill him. The more power he has when I throw my SB3 per my SIG, which is max, the more potency my prowess gets. And you see here, I'm surprised. At first it wasn't doing much damage, but it takes him down to around 50%. And anytime I throw this special 3, I'm going to gain another prowess. So ultimately, safe fight. I can see how it can be kind of problematic since I'm not using a Mystic. If he gets too many energized buffs, it can, with planetary endurance, that all can multiply. So that's why I went with the Power Start 1, just to basically get in the fight and get out of the fight as soon as possible. Now the next fight I have is Wong, and basically Wong, what I want to do is, whenever I come out of using a White Magneto passive stun, I tell myself to make sure I look at the stun timer, because you get so used to that long stun. Sometimes you just, you know, you hold heavy too long with Professor X that you end up, you know, taking a hit in the face. So my Power Start 1's still working, which is great. I want to get in and out of this fight, but mainly I want to make sure that he's under a bar of power when I throw my special 3 rotation. When I mind control him, he won't gain any more power, so I can keep him there. But there he resisted my heavy, and I'm like, okay, I still got the charge, I dexed it. That was fine. And at this point, I ideally want to push him to a special 2. I don't want him in his blue form, because if he gets in his blue spell, then any buffs that I get will make him go unstoppable. Now, he does that when he throws his special one. So here I'm like, perfect. One more heavy and he's in his blue, but he throws, one more heavy and he's in his SB2, but he throws that that special one, and now he has his blue spell. And I'm like, okay, well, I need to get the Fury up here. And at this point, you see how I got a buff from the Dex? He goes unstoppable. I needed to Dex or bait that special, so he's under a bar, so I don't get a Wong crossfight, because that will basically give my next opponent a bar of power to start. You'll see how that was actually very important later on in this war, because I will be using X for a different fight. But here is just a special 3 spam with my mutant boost, and X's ability to keep his power makes this ultimately safe. So next up we have a Chavez on 19, and I'm using I have a white Magneto pre-fight put on there and a flame on for my buddy Enzo, and I'm going to be taking it with my torch. I'm fully boosted. I'm going to throw on an indestructible boost, and the reason I'm doing this is so I can basically tank an SB2 or tank an SB3 ideally. So what I should have done is I'll be using a special 3 boost for a Moth fight right after this. I should have thrown that on as well, because if things get out of hand and I lose my indestructible, at least I can push a red and, you know, be safe. And right off the bat on these protection nodes, I want to make sure that I get the protection down so I can start dealing damage early in the fight. So there I get it down with a heavy, and I medium, light, medium. I don't want to throw any specials with torch, but there he throws a random heavy and I lose my indestructible. So I mistimed that heavy, because I was thinking that the protection would come off, and the heavy would reset the Fury that I had. Then I easily would have killed her, but since it didn't, I just went into nuke mode and you know, just attacked her, went to my SB2 to get her down. So thankfully it did, and I got a bit lucky there, I'll be honest. Now this Moth fight, I took it last war, and I have Reed pre-fights here, white Magneto for damage and a longer stun, and the plan is if I get a parry to start, I'm going to parry heavy to build my temp up, because I don't know if I'll be knocking him down, and the blocked hits do build my temperature, but I don't want to get faltered early, because I don't want to lose that degen. I don't want to take that degen damage, because I am planning to tank an SB3. So I get that heavy, perfect, my temp is up, and now every blocked hit is going to build that, so I'm not too worried. He goes a little passive right here, but then he throws this special, and I'm like, all right, perfect. That just buys me more time in the fight. He's already down 25%. And so now I'm watching Bubble Shield, and I'm like, okay. So at this point, I go for an intercept right there. I push him to yellow. He throws this. I know I'm going to be at 9 stacks. I'm going to block Dex, and it doesn't count my Dex. So I'm at a special 2. I throw it to release the roots. He's going to get stunned, and then I'm going to go in for a medium, light, medium. And at this point, I'm safe with Bubble Shield, but the Nova Flames did their job. So ultimately, a smooth fight, but I did play Bubble Shield, or I thought I did, but if you look at it, I dexed after that 10th hit, and it didn't count as a dex, so I went to block after, and he hit me in the face. Now this fight, I'm using a Power Start 1 boost, because I want to get in and out before his poisons basically start. And basically I would, you know, Power Start 1, get to my SB3, and I was talking to my friend about, before this war, about how X really doesn't need to get to 100 charges, because at 50 I can initiate mind control manually, and if I'm ramped, I can still do significant damage. This is going to be very important, because right here I missed that parry, I'm like, okay. And then I just missed this parry and take a combo to the face, and then I go to beat his block, and he intercepts me, and now I'm in the corner. I get this heavy, and I'm like, oh man, I really am in trouble here, because I'm stuck in the corner, and I don't want him to get to an SB2, because at that point, you know, bad things start happening. I stack more poison. So I'm over 50 charges, and I see that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for a quick, you know, 2 combo and an intercept right here. Perfect. And I'm going to manually trigger mind control with 4 lights, and I have the Fury from the intercept, and this should nuke. If I was actually going back and forth with a friend of mine, talking about X. He recently took his to R5, and I was like, I don't think I need to get to 100 or 75. 50 should be able to do it to kill most lane fights and minis. And because of that, is the reason that I was comfortable doing this, because I ultimately knew that I was gonna kill this I-bomb, which I was running max recoil, by the way, because of these fights. Now, I either forgot how to block, or my BG leader Steve hacked my account so I could get slapped around. I don't know. You guys figure that out. But he didn't, deny that at all when we called it out in BG chat. So, proof is in the pudding. But now I have this Doom on Ebb and Flow Intercept and Mighty Charge. I have a White Magneto pre-fight so I can parry. I'm using a Power Start 1 because I don't want to tank anything, because if I could tank an SB3, I'm stunned and I'm dead. If I eat a SB2, I'm incinerated and I'm dead. So, it's just about parry heavy. And I'm okay with pushing him to an SB2. Because I'll just take it on the block. Now there I miss a parry and I'm like, And I'm like, okay. But there, I eat SB1. Thank God that it tickles. But it's just like, man, I really, really didn't want to lose. Or I really didn't want to get hit, really. I really wanted to push him to an SB2 and have a smooth fight. But either way, at this point, it's just about heavy charging. I'm going to push him to 2 bars of power. And then go for an intercept. So here, I want him to dump his power, and he does, and I'm just going to take this all on the block, which is fine. And then I'm going to heavy charge, because I don't know if MD would push him over, and it looks like it did. I get my Fury, the protection's down, and I'm going to SP3 spam and nuke this man down. So I think Professor X is a great Doom counter. I haven't fought him in Section 2 in quite a long time, so I was a bit nervous going in. But my parries just felt a little off, especially in the latter part of this war, after that I-bomb fight and this Doom fight. So, but either way, ultimately safe. It did cost me some potions, so that's okay. Next up, I have a Longshot, which I was supposed to get a Wags for, but I decided against it because I'd rather have it for Sassy. And with Longshot, baiting a heavy is okay because it's going to build my temperature and smolders, so I'll essentially do more damage, and I just need to get intercepts. So I really stick to the rule of medium, light, medium only for Torch. It limits the opponent's power, first of all, and it does the most damage. And also, there's no need to throw a special because it just feeds them more power. I get that we get antsy and we want to go for the kill shot, but ultimately it's just the medium, light, medium is the most effective way to deal damage with Torch versus Mystics. So here I go for a 3-hit combo and I get an intercept. Perfect. I get the Fury up, and at this point I'm like, okay. Here I think about pushing in, baiting this SB1, but then I'm like, no, I want the SB2 because I'm Incinerate immune. And I just want to make sure that I don't, take an instant bleed or something crazy to the face. So there, he throws it. Now he's playing ball. And I'm like, okay, just need to get one more intercept, go for a 2-hit combo, get that intercept. And here, I could have thrown that SB2 and stunned him, but there was no need. There's no need to feed him more power, especially with MD. I just needed to be patient, and I could have just medium, light, medium him to red, and he would have died. So, perfectly fine. Now here, I'm getting some white, I get a White Magneto pre-fight from my BG leader, Steve, and he's being stingy with his reads, but he finally drops them. He makes me ask nicely. And an advanced power boost is needed here. I messed up in last season and ran in with Indestructible, and it really slowed down the fight. And you'll see why it just makes things so much faster. Again, I'm fully boosted, fully ramped, and 200% mutant boost here, so I am in no fear of not getting enough power to spam my SB3. I just need to build to over 50 charges essentially, but I can get to 100 with this rotation. So basically, I'm just going to parry heavy and bait an SB2 ideally, so he dumps his power. But if not, it's not really needed. So here. He backs off. Like this AI is always backing off at the beginning. It's kind of weird. I missed that parry, and I'm like, okay, just reset. It's okay. He fed me power. I'm going to heal also from the falter, the willpower, because I have a vigilance up, so I don't have to worry about missing. So the only annoying thing in this fight is actually when the node gives me a falter and he misses, and I can't parry him. So here I'm almost at 100 charges. You see how the advanced power boost just basically works in my favor. And at this point, the more power he has, the more damage I have for my SIG, and this fight is essentially over. So you see, at the beginning of the war, while Spidey 99 does shut down his wrath, This node still has power efficiency, so he will still throw quite a bit of specials, even with Spidey 99. Now, if you just do the rupture thing, then obviously that limits his power, but ultimately I think this is just much safer to do with Professor X. You do want to be fully ramped, and if I'm playing it completely safe, throw on max recoil. You're just using SP3s anyways. I didn't really start doing that until like the middle or the latter end of last season, and it just makes the most sense to do so. So I did have my health all maxed out for this war just to be safe, because I just wanted to be completely full on health as we went on. But that was my war. So at this point, my war is done. So I had to, Andrew was being kind of shy this war again, and he didn't get to use Herc. He didn't want to bring Herc. He again is just going on this Herc tirade that he just doesn't want to use Herc, and I think it's because he just has some really bad puns. So I just kind of wanted to put this out there for Andrew to try to make him feel better. But let's take a look at the stats now. So we were able to pull out the win. Shout out to B McG, Super Sam, and Clown for the MVPs on our side, and GG's to Salty. It was a super close war all the way through. We were up 1-2 before with 2 bosses down, and then unfortunately we did die to our boss in BG3. Amanda did a fabulous job. She almost pulled it out. Just war. RNG and AI sometimes goes haywire, and that's part of why we play this mode, because the highs of doing well and the lows of doing poorly, but ultimately we win as a team and lose as a team. So there's no bashing going on. She did a great job, as everybody else did in our alliance. Salty did have the tiebreaker when it got tied 2-2. But they ended up dying to a Korg on 49, which ultimately gave us the win. And they died again, so it was 4-2 in the end. But super exciting when the wars are this close and everyone's doing well on both sides. So that's it for this war, and I'll see you guys in the next one.